Encountering Satan, Encountering Satanists by Nargargole Shlod. And my comment is as follows. I personally refuse to consider anyone a Satanist if they are not a demonologer, witch, or whatever term for theistic Satanist. I went to an OTO service that talked about certain things like sex during menstruation and such for use in magic. No one really said it felt better. Neither gross, perverted, or predatory practices are needed to break through. 40 or so Muslim majority countries openly persecute the Muslim population for their sources and observation of Islam. The Sufis, more than any group of them, realize that being normal doesn't matter that much in spirituality. Modes and modules have their time and place, but you are right that some things are to be distanced from. I'm here with Lzwvmmh
also known as Axaru. Hello.
Well, I thought that one was going to break into a poem because at some point all my things are like some artistic interpretation or poem, but
as always.
that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
And you know how it's been for the longest time, like why people call Satan Lucifer, because it's like all these people were using the whole thing as insults.
What?
So so it became something it wasn't. So
so they're not the same, or
it's like Lucifer is literally watch my video. Christ is Lucifer. I do this around a Catholic church, proving how in Catholic services and in the Bible that Jesus is called Lucifer.
Oh yes.
So it's a role that someone takes on, and a lot of things have been used by it's like witch and all this other stuff. People have taken it. No, witch is very particularly a word for Satanist.
What?
Just like Yazidi and some of these other things, it's really a word for those who consciously, maybe they're not too aware of the spirits themselves, but they're making deals with the type of entities that people would call demons.
Okay, yeah.
They're in some sort of confidential relationship, or they're calling them up and all this other stuff. So
I mean, yeah.
But this thing where people refer to things like an insult, like I've of course been talking about H.P. Lovecraft, and he's adopted, he didn't break through away from the use of the title pagan and heathen and that sort of thing, because pagan and heathen, the Romans and the Greeks, if you look at the Roman and Greek use of those terms, it referred to the imperial culture. The Romans didn't call anybody pagan until the Christians. Until the Christians, they didn't call people pagan and heathen and Gentile and stuff because of their beliefs. It was their culture.
Really? Wow,
so
that's interesting.
The poor people out in the woods who carved out of wood rather than hiring artists to build their statues, they were pagans.
Wow. Okay.
If there's a shrine to Apollo out in the woods, that shrine to Apollo would be my pagan. But if it was in the city, the city dwellers with their masonry and stuff like this, they would be called pagans, even though they had the same religion.
Okay. Wow.
And
I didn't know this.
The Christians, in rejecting the natural world, I guess that's not the best meme for that, but the Christians, in rejecting the natural world, denied the role of divinity in nature, and therefore a lot of that stuff came through. Like another word that's became almost like an insult is this one here. The obedient of God. In Judeo-Christian legend, the devil was known as obedient. This is perfect coloring right here. I just got my face right here in the pentagram, and
Oh, yeah, you look like Anton LaVey, very evil now.
The
No, not really.
the
Maybe the reincarnation of Anton LaVey. No. Oh shit! You got the sunglasses too. Oh, I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. Oh shit! This is getting scary now. Stop.
but
Oh shit!
you know that there's certain things you don't want to take the appearance on, like Crowley. I'm surprised going around Italy and everything else that nobody ever. People let Crowley join in all sorts of stuff, and I'm surprised he did not. No one tried to kill the guy. It sounded like he knew of, like he knew of stuff like in Egypt there was a guy whose his feet. People passed this rumor along that he put the name of God on his feet so they wouldn't give him charity, like he somehow didn't deserve charity. So they passed rumors about that.
Okay.
That this guy was some sort of blasphemous Satanist or something with in reality, and he had the names of God on his feet out of a disrespect and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But you know,
yeah. I mean, it's so obvious. How can people not?
You know, this is this wider meme here is the Hashathan. So that's the continual scourge. An interesting thing that people claim there are misspellings in the Bible, but a lot of them, I'm not sure, are misspellings. I think it's intentional.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than using the word adversary, they're using the word continual scourge for a reason. They're using this sort of thing for a reason. But if it was adversary, you'd have ha-sathan. So instead of...
Yeah. Okay, no, I got you, yeah.
But to tie it back to something further, to the whole Tiamat and Kingu thing, the ton right here, Shaitan. Shaitan in that language is the gift of Tiamat.
What?
The Ton in Palestinian.
No way. You gotta be joking.
The Ton in Palestinian is the female Satan. The Jews use the term Palestinian as an insult to the other people.
What?
In their language.
What the fuck? Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, this is just shocking to
and the idea, of course, Malik tells, so there's some sort of confusion in some of this because you know, the other,
there's a lot of confusion.
So you have the 3 in the middle, or the 4 in the middle, you could say.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, yeah.
You know, Samuel and
Samuel and
small. Oh, well, that might turn out to 6. So on the left of God are the spice of God, and then you have Hashathan, you know, the continual scourge, the adversary, the gift of the gift of the female Satan, you could say, and then you go above with the Azazel, the cut off from God, and Abaddon, you know, the best sort of thing, and Baal Zebub, not Beelzebub. That's a different thing.
Okay.
If it's really Lord of Flies, we're talking Baal Zebub.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you'd go around to the south. You have Belial. It doesn't mean without masters. It means worthless and wicked, that sort of stuff. So you're trying to make it this thing. It's like, oh, it's where you don't accept the earning master. No, that's not what it means etymologically. That's a modern thing. They're putting some games just to put on a t-shirt.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And Leviathan, of course, is the more common that LeVay uses this, but I like the pre-Jewish script. The pre-Jewish script seems to have more meaning for me at the very least, because when you add a 23rd letter to the Ga, it does something, and you can tell more directly the meaning associated with the stuff. Oh, this is a shepherd's crook. This is a snake. This is a hand. This is this. You can tell that. So it's easier to relate to.
Yeah.
But there's also the 30, the most directly 23 letters instead of 22. But you can have 30 letters and one mark that like doubles a letter, or has like, you know, like kind of like the Arabic Hamza, you have an extra letter, you have 28 letters, and then you have this other thing.
Okay.
And then you have vowel marks and all this stuff in Hebrew, well, not Hebrew, in Aramea, as it would have been called before the Jews
Yeah,
were the
Aramea.
only
Okay.
people using the
Oh, wow.
language.
Yeah. Wow.
And then Biamat, the death, mut is death or an ending, but you have the box, So obviously the sea beast connected there. I thought that was an important thing.
Okay.
But regardless of what side per se you're talking, these are categories you got to deal with. I was, you know, that he has the same sort of background music to his thing. His he was talking about the shadow. So a lot of people put the darkness and the negativity or how we respond to that off into the shadow. And then we end up, you know, like everybody we don't like is, you know, he's with these people. But it seems like everybody that people don't like, they're like putting them off. Like, I mean, there's real demons and all that sort of stuff, but you don't have to demonize people. It just seems an excess thing. Don't you agree?
No, yeah. Like Christians, they demonize you as soon as you're wrong, and they don't want to admit you're wrong. They say like, or like this, something I usually said. You know, I usually say to Christians, okay, if you tell me that 2 + 2 = 5, and I get angry at you for saying 2 + 2 is 5 because I know it's 4, does that mean I'm possessed by Satan? Or does it simply mean that I'm responding to you being wrong? And they don't seem to know the difference between, you know, reacting to them being wrong or saying something stupid. And, you know, they want to manipulate you with that shit and say, oh, I see Satan in your eyes. You're getting angry now.
Oh, like the corn song. I see hell in your eyes.
Yeah.
But they don't really say that like that doesn't you know the song doesn't have it like it's some sort of opera or some sort of stage thing like everybody's singing, but you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they don't want to admit they're wrong, and they want to, you know, project.
People being different. It's like, okay, the shadow, you don't know. It's not necessarily this all negative thing. It's just that part that you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
Most of what's happening physically, think about it. Most of what's happening physically with a person, they're not paying attention to. It's like all that stuff with your what your skin's feeling and what your blood and your breath and all that stuff's doing.
Yeah.
Now you can pay attention to that and use that, and even use that to the point where you can manipulate your attention to it to the point where you actually get like high or something.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, usually it's just another word of saying don't be aware. When they're saying like, you know, or they want to like avoid bringing full awareness to the situation because they're trying to avoid something happening now.
Well, it's like something. It's like everything has its context, and sometimes it's what nature does to you and whatnot. It's like I mentioned in the comment that at an OTO lodge, I encountered these people. Then they were, you know, so. But the thing is that, you know, if it something naturally happens to a woman, it's not necessarily something to condemn them to about, you know. Now there's certain risk involved in some of the practices that they mentioned, but some stuff it just has its time and place. Like the time may come to defend oneself to the point where somebody else has to die, and that's fine. That's fine. Now, generally, that's not the case. Generally, like generally, I know. You're glad your buddies, no matter how horrible the person is, you're glad your buddies stopped you from killing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least because you would have ended up in prison. But the fact of the matter is it's not that you did something wrong. It's just the long-term stuff is not the thing.
Exactly.
And then a lot of the stuff it's you know, you feel this thing, but you feel these urges and all this stuff because there's going to be a time for it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and then people demonize anger and sexuality and all this other stuff, and it's like,
In sexuality, yeah,
but
exactly.
it's needed.
Yeah, it's situational, like you said yesterday. Yeah,
It's like you can't have
contextual. Yeah,
it's like what you're eating animal products and you're
Yeah.
like this completely anti-violence person. Like
Oh, yeah.
like you have people that can eat the animal byproducts and food of tortured animals, but if it's a non-tortured animal that's just straight up meat, you can't carry it into, you can't you have to leave your thing in your car, and it's like, no, I'm not going to visit you today because I can't leave this out in the sun the whole time.
Yeah. Or like, for example, you sitting outside and
but it's like you look around and they have these meat byproducts of mistreated animals, and you got something that's treated right and stuff. It's like,
exactly.
Oh, I can't have that around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
a
think
lot
George
of
Carlin
things,
said,
are hypocrites. Just like just like one of the things I mentioned here is like they talk about a lot of stuff's political, but they talk about like, oh, it's this spiritual path or another that's where the persecution lies, and it's like, no, that's it's like in some of these countries. In some countries, the most persecuted spiritual path is supposedly the one that's running the game.
Oh, yes.
And then in some countries, we pretend like people in office, politicians in office, you know what they do?
No.
They operate according to their beliefs. So
What
this
do you
thing
say?
we're pretending like, oh, we're the church and state, it's all completely separate. That's a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie. Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus is not God. Okay. Oh, is this
Oh, what? Did someone write at you, or?
Oh, I'm just looking at this other comment I have in this email.
Okay. Take your time.
So it's one of the comments is a father. It's like there used to be this thing, right? They had this triangle, and this triangle had words in it. And so you got a triangle and a circle in the middle, and they had words going to it: a Father, a Son, a Holy Spirit. So my version of it is a Father, is a Son, is really a Holy Spirit. Father is not God. So instead of everything is God and everything is every father is a son and every son's a father and every spirit is a son and a father and each of those is God. Which makes no sense.
Wow. And it makes sense too, right?
But there's at least 52 passages that,
oh wow,
kind of would put Christianity under the thing. So let's
oh shit, yeah. Oh wow, that's an interesting model.
Well, I think one of the things about going after the other people in particular and not really whatever it's just that they need to there's something about their own path that they're not holding up. Now if it was just certain beliefs and actions, stuff like this, just like if you're a preacher and you don't you don't ask your congregation, you don't ask your congregation to be modest, you don't talk about other extramarital sex acts, but you want to give sermons against the gays and transgenders or something, but you don't want to give you don't want to talk about the things that lead up to fornication and any of that stuff. So these people, they instead of dealing with the whole package, they pick on what they think is the weaker one, and of course that gives them power as they focus on what they think is less power, as less power to.
Oh my gosh! Oh my fucking gosh! What? That's like, I mean, these people are just doing the most nasty things all the times. Like, they're just cowards, nasty cowards, and oh shit, yeah.
And
yeah.
So hold on here.